Earlier today, Bandai held their next planned presentation stream detailing all of the cool things and events that are coming up for all Bandai card games over the next few months. So in this video, we are going to go over and detail all of them for 3 of the games: the Gundam Card Game, Fusion World, and of course, the One Piece card game. What did they announce? What is coming out? And what, in some cases, is going away? Be sure to watch to the end to find out. My name is Ben Fitzpatrick. I'm a TCG caster, so that means I just love talking about them. So let's do that right now. But before we dive into all of the announcements in this video, drop a like on it if you are excited. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on that notification bell so you do not miss an update. And also, give me a follow over on X, which is where we will be staying for the majority of this video to take a look at all of the announcements on the official accounts. And we're starting off with the Gundam Card Game, and a lot of news has made its way out over the course of these past few hours. First and foremost is release dates of brand new products. Starter Decks 7 and 8 and Booster Set 3 have been announced for January 2026, and it looks like we can be continuing the trend of releasing starter decks before a main set's booster release. The 16th of January is when starter decks 7 and 8 will be released, and then GD03 will come out another 2 weeks later on the 30th of January 2026. And remember, the Gundam Card Game has a synchronized release from launch, so this is going to be a set date for everyone, barring any delays or anything like that that may potentially come from distributors. This is really, really exciting. I'm always excited for new information about product releases and things like that, especially when we get to set 3. The format will have developed a little bit, maybe even had our first suspension or something. We've had plenty of events as well with the first contact missions. We'll be talking about those later, don't you worry, and gearing up in towards that first World Championships as well. Super interested to see what these decks and this set is going to bring. Next up, we have an event to talk about. This is the Gundam Base Pop-Up World Tour, and it is going to be held worldwide starting next month, July 2025. And if you purchase something at this Gundam Base Pop-Up World Tour, you'll receive an exclusive EX Base promo, and these look really cool. They've got the Gundam Base World Tour logo on them. You can see on this image you've got them here on every variant here, the original Japanese printing, the English printing just there, and then the simplified Chinese version as well. So we'll keep an eye out for any locations and any confirmed actual dates that these pop-up events are going to be being held. But the announcements of them at the very least, and seeing this really cool promo, fingers crossed it's foil, is always a great thing. Always love to see. Similar to products, new events getting announced, new opportunities to connect with either players that have been following the game since its announcement about 8 months ago now, or something like that, 8-10 months ago, or if they're just looking to maybe get into it the first time, or already a big Gundam enthusiast, but have maybe had limited experience in a card game, or this is their first time looking at a card game potentially. Really excited to see what this will bring. We've also got some other mini events that have been announced here. Link stations. So link stations are essentially, if you are a fan of Nintendo, for example, these are kind of like Nintendo Directs, if you will. They're short, little mini pre-recorded segments and broadcasts that are going to be starting off on June the 27th weekly, leading up to the release of the game on July. And you can see here right at the bottom, the first stream and the first broadcast on that 27th of June is going to feature the first ever starter deck unboxing in the world. So we will definitely be tuning into and reacting to that either... Sorry, I thought I unplugged my microphone there. So I will certainly be tuning into that either live or in post the broadcast as we are here now. I would have loved to have done the live reaction to the next presentation, but unfortunately I didn't quite have the opportunity to watch it live. I watched a little bit, but couldn't share it with all you lovely folks. But this, we are definitely going to be sharing together and seeing exactly what other cards are in the starter decks, how many copies of cards are in the starter decks as well. And then on July the 12th, there will be a starter deck release stream. So importantly, a live stream here as opposed to this pre-recorded link station. It's going to be all about the starter decks, all about the game launching, and have some details about the World Championships 25-26. If you missed my last video on the Gundam Card Game talking about the first events that have been revealed from a competitive standpoint, also had a little bit of information in there in the World Championship. So I'll pop an iCard in the corner of the screen somewhere so you have the link to that video as well. But more details, definitely a good thing. We want more details about Worlds. We want more details about regionals as well and how else that we can get here. You can see the Japan regional qualifiers are going to be spoken about. Does that mean that we're going to get some more information about qualifiers in the West as well? We will have to wait and see. I'm certainly hopeful for it. This was going to be the final reveal that I'm going to be talking about here. And that's a brand new card has been revealed. Gundam Aerial Rebuild. Level 6, 5 cost from GD01. It's an LR. When paired, choose one command card that is level 5 or lower from your trash and add it to your hand. So, interesting card here. It's in white, and the immediate target here that I'm looking for is the Witch and the Bride, to be able to recur that back after you've bounced something away. And it's important that I mention the Witch and the Bride here, and about Soletta Mercury, and the fact that this card has been revealed today. Because, for those of you that watched my last video on the Gundam Card Game, we spoke about one of the events being the new type challenge and first combat. And that new type challenge winners card was unannounced and unrevealed. And I made the prediction in that video that that was because it was a card that we hadn't seen yet. It was an unannounced card that was going to be revealed later on, and that was going to get some kind of extra treatment and be our winners card. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to say I was right. Gundam Aerial Rebuild is going to be the winner card for the first ever new type challenge. It is coming in an alternate artwork, as you can see there. Looks absolutely stunning, absolutely gorgeous, and this beautiful Gundam Card Game logo as well in the top right corner of the card. This is an incredible card. I'm really, really hopeful that I can maybe get my hands on this card. I don't know. It will take a lot for me to be able to win one of those first combats or new type challenges. But really, really cool that we are seeing this prize card here. And then we can have it paired along with the other two as well. So a recap for those of you who haven't tuned into that first video. Here are now confirmed all of the cards that you can get to participate in a new type challenge. So your participation card is going to be the Overflowing Affection command. The finalist, which is top 4, I believe, or top 8 maybe depending on attendance, is going to be the Soletta Mercury Pilot. And then pairing with Soletta and with Overflowing Affection, it's all Witch from Mercury here. The winner's prize is going to be Gundam Aerial Rebuild. So some great news here coming for the Gundam Card Game ahead of its release as well. Next month, we are looking at literally a month away from the time of recording and upload of this video. The 12th of July is when that celebration stream is going to happen, and when we will have starter decks in our hands as well. And I will be making sure that I'll be making videos unboxing the starter decks as well as GD01. So if you're a fan of the Gundam Card Game, you will not want to miss out on this very channel. Now let's hop on over to Fusion World, Dragon Ball Super card game Fusion World. This is a game that I've been keeping a little bit of an eye on since its release and since the game has continued to develop. I obviously casted it as well during Bandai Card Games Fest in December, and really interested to see what is going to be announced and what has been announced here. Let's start off with something that perhaps isn't as much of a surprise on what we were expecting to hear about in this broadcast, and that was a ban and restricted list announcement. Yes, we had a piece of media and a press release get put out a couple of weeks ago speaking about how there was going to be an update to the ban and restricted list, and here is your update. The ban and restricted list in effect as of July the 1st, so still got a couple of weeks to use these cards. It is Pilaf that is getting banned from Dragon Ball Super card game Fusion World. The one cost to be able to continuously loop one cost or less events and cards with Earthling in the traits from drop to hand. That is gone now, so a big hit to the blue Goku decks. And then Babidi is getting restricted to 1 here. Very interesting. To restrict this card to 1 means that the Majin Buu decks are going to be a lot weaker now, potentially here, not being able to go and Babidi Buu combo for a lot of the turn. So that is your banned and restricted list. Cards are going to be banned from July the 1st, so ahead of the wave of regionals that are going to be taking place in Europe through July. Next up, we've got some product announcements as well here, and this was kind of the chunk of the Fusion World announcements in this segment. First up, Manga Booster 2 is coming out. We've not got Manga Booster 1 just yet. It's right around the corner, but the second version is going to be out in November the 14th. 12 cards and 1 promotion code for the digital version, 111 cards plus 21 types in total, plus all art versions, and of course they are all going to be in that manga art style. We have also got ourselves Wish for Shenron. This is going to be the next main set that's going to be coming out for Fusion World, and as the name suggests, it brings Shenron as a leader. Dragon Ball plus Shenron is your leader and is one of your leaders for the game. And this is a really interesting leader as well. So it's a little bit more difficult to see the flip side here with the Dragon Ball. So I'm going to try and do my best to explain it and read it for you guys. So permanent, first and foremost, this card can't attack. So this is an unattackable leader or an unattacking leader. And if your life is at 4 or less, it becomes 20k. So normally in Super Card Game Fusion World, your leaders start at 15k before they awaken once they hit 4 or less life, and then they get that boost up to 20,000. Here, however, the Dragon Balls are a static 20k, whether you are awakening or not, once you hit that 4 life threshold. And there's a really important reason why it's getting that plus 5k boost that we'll talk about in a second. Activate main, you may switch this card to rest mode, draw 1 card. Really cool here. So the trade-off not being able to attack, where with leaders in Fusion World, whenever you attack on the either side, you get to draw 1 card. Here, you get to draw 1 anyway, but you're not attacking, which I think could be a bit of a benefit here in actuality, especially in the early game. Means that your opponent is going to have to self-awaken, take those 8 life cards down to 4, as opposed to relying on attacks from yourself with the Dragon Ball leader before it awakens. And then awaken, activate main, or battle when you have 7 cards with Dragon Ball in their special traits in your drop. Important. Draw 1 card, then flip this leader over and awaken into Shenron, who's a little bit easier to read on the awakened side. Again, still can't attack as a permanent effect, but activate main, switch this card to rest mode, play up to 1 battle card with a cost of 7 or less from your drop, and flip this card to its front side. So this is where that plus 5k becomes very, very important when we use this effect and when we are flipped back. Because we're flipping back and forth here, or at least that's going to be the idea, when you're at that 4 life stage and when you would typically awaken and stay there, you still want to have that awaken viability, that awaken stat line. So we are getting the 20,000 base power when we are flipped back after we have awakened for the first time. I think this is a really, really cool, little different way to play Fusion World, and a deck that I'm really, really excited to see here. There is also the last little bit of text on it. Return all cards from your drop to their owner's deck. So this is after you've used the ability to play out a 7 cost or less from the drop, flipped it back to the Dragon Balls, and then everything, just like the show, all the Dragon Balls go back, scatter across the universe and across the world, and then you shuffle your deck. So a really, really cool first-time leader for Shenron in Fusion World. Here's a little bit of the support that we're getting as well straight away for the Dragon Ball / Shenron leader. First off, we've got the Dragon Balls themselves, a 0 cost extra that you can have as many copies of in your deck as you like, as long as the total number doesn't exceed 7. So Dragon Ball, you can include as many copies of cards with Dragon Ball in your deck as you like, including cards with the same number, as long as the total number doesn't exceed 7. Makes sense for the 7 Dragon Balls. And activate main, place the top 2 cards of your deck into their owner's drop. So this is here to A, facilitate the awakened leader ability to play something out, and then B, of course, to even get it to awaken in the first place. Use the extra, it burns straight away and goes into the drop. That's 1 more to count towards the 7 that you need. We then also got a way to search out Dragon Ball cards here with Dragon Radar. Activate main, look through your deck and life. That is, I mean, the fact that we're getting the Dragon Balls is cool enough, but looking through deck and life, that is unheard of in pretty much all Bandai card games, and even just, I think, card games in general for the most part. Yes, you've got, like, tutor cards in Magic the Gathering, and there are only a couple of cards in things like One Piece that allow you to look through your deck. I'm looking at you, Kurozumi Orochi 1 cost that found its way into Lim. Thanks, Benjamin Gayro. But looking through your life as well is incredible. Being able to do those at the exact same time, know exactly what you're working with in deck and what you're missing and what you need to try to help yourself self-awaken with, is just incredible. It's crazy. And the fact, of course, that you then get to add a Dragon Ball card to your hand and then shuffle your deck and life, and it's only a 1 cost extra as well. This is going to be a really funky combo that I'm really, really looking forward to giving a try. We've also got a couple of other cards that have been partly revealed. We know what they are, but we don't know exactly what they do. So we've got Dr. Arinsu here, a 1 cost 5k with 10+10 combo. We have Burst Attack, a 4 cost blue extra. Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, 5 cost 30k battle card with +10k combo. Golden Emperor, a 1 cost extra, and the Dende battle card as well, a 2 cost 5k with 10k combo. So Wish for Shenron looks like it's going to be a really cool set, and we don't have to wait long for it at all either. September 19th for players to start to experiment with the Dragon Balls themselves. Finally, we also got another main set announcement. Saiyan's Pride is going to close out the year of 2025. December the 12th is when that will release. All the leader cards are going to be Saiyans in the set as well. And finally, FB09, a 2nd anniversary set, is planned for release in March 2026. And here is a look at the release schedule for Fusion World to close out 2025 and go into 2026. So some really, really cool products and news to look forward to as the year closes out for Fusion World, and definitely one that I think I might be dipping my toes back into every now and then as well. Finally, it's time to head on over to the One Piece card game. And for this, we're going to be taking a look at the Vampire Gaming's Twitter or X account here, because he has all of the translations. So a massive thank you and shout out to Vampire, a great member of the community. I'll chuck his social link, and I believe his YouTube channel he's got as well, in the description below as well, so you can go ahead and check him out. So first things first, we have PRB2 news. So all the information about Premium Booster number 2, which we learned about a few months ago. Just like PRB01, an SR or higher is guaranteed in each pack. Parallel Don inspired by each leader. We are also getting an exclusive SP card that's coming in PRB2. So that's a difference between this version and PRB01. And of course, it's going to be a reprint set, parallel version illustration, so alternate illustrations, potentially even some extra Jolly Roger foils here. That might be what we're hinting at here with foil cards for different designs. So Jolly Roger foils like in PRB01. But one of the biggest pieces of news, and the thing that has been confirmed now, is that we are going to have new cards in a premium booster for the first time. 1 new super rare and 2 new rares for each color are going to be making their way into the game with PRB02. We're also going to get 6 types of SP cards and exclusive event parallel cards as well. And I, for one, am hoping for a lot more either full art events or the manga style events that we've started to see since OP10 with Divine Departure. I love the designs of those cards. I need to start collecting them. I'm just waiting maybe for the price to drop on some of the newer ones that have come out with OP11, especially Gear 2, because that is a super popular event card right now with Blue Purple Luffy. So, it's all well and good talking about some of the new features, but what about these new cards? Well, you'll notice I've got a lot of tabs open, and I referred to a lot of translations. And that's because we have had card reveals in this next game plan presentation here. And we are starting it off with a green Luffy super rare here. And this card is disgusting. This card is unbelievable. 4 cost 5k with a 1k counter. Your turn on play. If your leader is multicolored and your opponent has 7 or less Don on their field, at the start of your opponent's next main phase, your opponent rests 1 of their active Don. So Green Purple Luffy just got a tempo piece. Why? This is crazy! Like, why on earth are we doing this? We already knew that Green Purple Luffy was going to be a problem leader, especially with Sanji Pudding and the 6 cost secret rare. And now we're giving it early to mid-game tempo, and essentially just saying to purple decks that don't recur the Don easily, okay, yeah, you just can't play the game for half of the game, because you're not going to be working with a full suite of Don. So you have to be very, very careful about how much Don you reduce, if you can't get it back, of course. So if you're playing things like Kaido, you've got Onigashima Island, you're playing Purple Black Luffy, the Don comes back the first time, but this card is just insane. It's just generally unbelievable. I can't believe that this card has been printed here. Yeah, this feels very, very strong indeed. Next up, we've got some of the rare cards that have been revealed. We've got 1 from each color, I believe, that has been revealed to kick things off. So Bandai still holding their cards to their chest. So first, we've got Nami, which is another Straw Hat Crew searcher here. 2 cost 2k in purple on play. Look at the top 5 of the deck. Grab a Straw Hat Crew type card other than Nami and put it into your hand. The rest on the bottom of the deck. Importantly, it is limitless here as well, as opposed to something like the 1 cost Trafalgar Law that is in purple at the moment that a lot of the purple black Luffy players are using. This is potentially a replacement for it. I'm not 100% sure whether it is or not, because 2 Don, you have to go second to be able to hit this on turn 1, whereas if you're forced to go first, or if you go first with PB Luffy and Law, you get to Law. So I'm not quite sure if this is going to be a full replacement for lore in those lists. And the trigger is to just play the card, which has been confirmed by my good friend Ross. In fact, we'll drop a like on the tweet as well, on the reply. The trigger has been translated correctly to just play this card. So if anything, we might just go ahead and play this for the trigger in a lower quantity maybe, but still keep the full 4 playset of lore. Or we could go to something like 3-3 across lore and Nami. We'll have to wait and see. Next up, we have Lucky Roo here. 4 cost, 2k power, red-haired pirates character. It's a blocker. On play, you may trash 1 character card with 6,000 or more power from your hand. Draw 2. This is okay. I like the draw 2. I don't like the fact that we have to pitch a 6,000 power or more card from hand to do it. I like that it's a fact it's a blocker. But the problem is we've got 5 cost Rayleigh already in the red-haired pirates engine that does something a little bit better. It's not a blocker, sure, but it's a 6k body, and you get a filter as opposed to just a straight draw 2, and you draw those cards first. So I'm not 100% sure about this card, Lucky Roo. It seems okay, but I'm not 100% convinced just yet. Next up, we've got Jewelry Bonnie. 3 cost, 3k character, 1,000 powers counter. Blocker again. On your opponent's attack, once per turn, set up to one of your Don cards as active. This is really, really good. I really like this for Bonnie. I really like abilities that are able to restand Don on your opponent's turn or on your opponent's attack, and just restand Don in general. This just is another feather to the cap of Jewelry Bonnie being super, super efficient, because now we've got Cavendish and Smoker on our turn that we can actively go ahead and restand Don. We've got the Arouge blocker as well that restands Don at the end of the turn. We've got Kid and Killer that we can use to trash away and restand a Don. And now we've got Bonnie that sticks around on your opponent's attack to restand an active Don if your opponent doesn't remove it first, and is a blocker as well, so could just jump in the way of something before we start to go ahead and rest, or after we've rested something down. So there is a lot to like about this Jewelry Bonnie card, and I think this is going to see quite a lot of play in Bonnie, or potentially just in Supernovas in general. We're seeing green-yellow lore at the moment having a lot of success and a lot of hype around it post OP11 and starter deck release. So maybe this sneaks in here to be able to get yourself some counter event Don open. Who knows? Who knows indeed. Next up, we've got a little bit of buggy support. We've got Mr. 3 Galdino. This is a cool card. I like the idea of this card. 2 cost 1k, 1k blocker. It's 1k counter. It's a blocker again, but we have a really long effect here. This effect can be activated when this character is rested by your opponent's effect. You can trash it, and if you do, you draw 2. So if you're playing against something like Jewelry Bonnie, for example, and for whatever reason this gets rested, you can draw 2. If you're playing against something a little bit more aggressive in green, and they drop Hody Jones and try and rest your blocker to go for game, you can trash this, draw 2, try and find some more counters. I really, really like this card. I think this is really, really cool. And if anything, getting extra cards drawn into hand in Buggy is a huge win, so that we can use that leader ability multiple times on our turn. Remember, you have to trash a card from hand as well as paying that 5 Don for Buggy leader ability. So I really like Mr. 3. I think maybe not necessarily a 4 of in lists post PRBO2, maybe 2 or 3. It depends how prevalent that resting is going to be in the format going forward, but I really, really like the design behind Mr. 3. One card that I hasten to say that I like the design of, because I do and I don't, because this continues to add to another problem leader. This is Shiryu. 4 cost 5k, 1k counter. If your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, this character gains blocker and +4 cost. Bandai, we could have stopped there. We could have stopped there, and we all would have been saying already, this card's great, we're playing it in Teach. Unbelievable. But then we do this. On KO, if your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, KO an opponent's base 4 cost character or less. Bandai, I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. And I love you dearly. But why did we give Teach Lucky Roo, essentially? It's slightly less powerful because it's base 4 cost. But so many characters at base 4 cost are either 5 or 6k. So why have we given Lucky Roo to Teach and made him difficult to remove? Because he's 8 cost on board. Why have we done this? This is unbelievable. I'm so glad that I picked up my alt-art Teach leader when I did. Because this is Teach to the moon if it wasn't already Teach to the moon post-starter deck releases. Check my video reacting to the starter decks as well, talking about the starter decks and the cards that were in that. This is unbelievable. I genuinely can't believe that this card has been printed and is going to be a real thing and is going to be sticking around for a long time because it's block 3. And this is something really interesting to note here as well, is that you've got in the bottom right hand corner a different set code for these presumably new cards, PRBO2 015, to keep them in the rotation. So it seems like any of the reprinted cards are keeping their block rotation number. So as we saw in PRBO1, anything from block 1 was still block 1, anything from block 2 was still 2. And I'm not sure if that's a good decision or not just yet. Premium boosters having reprints in them and being reprint sets in and of themselves, I think, in my personal opinion, so personal opinion warning here, I think that premium boosters should be protected from rotation. And here's why. If you're releasing a set that is predicated for 95% of it now with PRBO2, but I digress on that point. If you're releasing a set that is predicated on reprints, and that is the biggest draw for that set, is reprints or treatments for those cards, make them a little bit easier for players to get hold of, you want those cards to be around and in the format for as long as possible, I think, at the very least. Other card games have proved that this is extremely successful. Reprinting games like Pokemon, for example. When a card is reprinted or brought back into rotation, you can then go ahead and use any version of that card that has been released ever, as long as it's the same name and the same card text on it. So, for a card like Ultra Ball, for example, any version of Ultra Ball is legal as long as Ultra Ball is in standard rotation, is released in a set that is in the standard rotation. Lorcana have announced that they are going to be doing it with Fabled, their set after rotation, their first set after rotation, reprinting cards from the old sets to keep them in core constructed. Yes, there's a little bit difference with Lorcana, and I suppose an asterisk as well with Pokemon, but expanded isn't in Europe really, but there are like legacy formats for those games. Expanded for Pokemon and Infinity Constructed, which will be coming for Lorcana. But if you're having a reprint set, I feel like, and this might just be me, I might be in the minority here with this, that you want to keep those reprint cards around as long as possible, and you want to keep these sets as a real marquee point for new players who come into the game and say, hey, if you get a couple of boxes of the premium booster sets, you've got yourself some really, really great staples to start with, and then you can build into whatever deck you want to from the contemporary sets that are in the block at that point. But that's just my thought. That's just my 2 pence on the situation. I may be wrong. Let me know down in the comments your opinion on that. I don't need to know your opinion on this card, though, because we all, I think, are in pretty much agreement. This card is crazy. Next up, we've got Otama here, the yellow representative, a 2-cost, 0-power, 2k counter. Activate main. You may rest this character and add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life to your hand, up to one of your leader or character cards, gains plus 3k during this turn. And it's got a rest trigger on it as well. Very unusual for yellow to have access to a rest trigger. But look at the type. It's Land of Wano. So this, as is pointed out here by Mimiose, I hope I'm pronouncing that right if you're watching this here, Mimiose, that this is Yamato's support. Yamato is eating again here. We've got a way to boost something up, either our leader ourselves to set ourselves up for Holy Jones for game, potentially. And we've got a rest as well to help kind of lean into that green aspect. So really, really interesting card, really cool card here. And Yamato believers have themselves another tool to work with. We also had some more card reveals, but not just for PRB2. No, we have a reveal for OP13, the first full reveal of a card for the 3rd anniversary set. And it's the 3 brothers all together, Ace, Sabo, and Luffy. Unfortunately, for believers in Black Yellow Luffy, thinking that that's going to come back, right now that's going to have to be put on hold as a dream. But the card here reads 1 cost, 1000 power. It's a 2k counter. Activate main. You may trash this character and give 1 active Don to one of your leaders or characters. Give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3000 power during this turn. This is a really, really good card. I am a big fan of this. Trashing itself, granting an active Don, so we're getting active Don plus a good effect, and then minus 3k'ing something to either clear it out on board or something like that. This is really, really good. I'm a big fan of this, and it's a 2k counter as well, so I think there's a lot to love here, and as soon as some more of the cards from OP13 get into circulation, we'll be sure to talk about them on the channel here. Final thing then to talk about that has been revealed and talked about in this next game's presentation is a release window here for some of the next sets. So EBO3, OP14, ST29, and EBO4 have all been officially confirmed by Bandai themselves. We had whisperings of a couple of these in and around the community, but these are all making their way out, and it seems like, according to Vampire, these are all releasing before global synchronization happens in the start of next year. So this is going to be a very, very hectic time for us in the release window to catch up in the West. We've already got a lot of stuff already on the horizon here. I think that August is going to be the next product release. I think that is for OP12, and then we'll have PRBO2. We've still got the Ace and Whitebeard starter deck as well to make its way into our hands, so a lot of stuff to come for the One Piece card game, and the power creep is real indeed. But that is all that we are going to cover here. So at that point, it's over to you guys. What do you think about all the reveals from Gundam, Dragon Ball Super Card Game Fusion World, and the One Piece card game as well? Drop a like on the video if you have enjoyed it and you're excited for the future of these games, and be sure to subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already, so you do not miss an upload and coverage of all of these games. So thank you for all of you for tuning in. Until the next time, see you soon. Goodbye.